It's the podcast that shakes and stirs up pharmacy. Welcome to PBM on the Rocks.
We are here and we are about to preview the OptumRx protest that is happening next week. I hope everyone is excited about it because I am excited about it. Monique, start us off.
With information about the protest, I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
Friday.
I thought she should start us off with a song, actually.
Yeah.
I would go with that.
Do we really want that? I don't think we really want that. I think what we want to do is we want to talk about what could possibly go wrong standing outside of the Optum campus in Minneapolis on Friday the 13th at 9 a.m. with about 100 to 200 super upset patients and pharmacists.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong for us. Maybe for them.
Nothing could go wrong. No.
And Claudia is back. Claudia has rejoined us.
I thought you kicked me off. I was like, I said it one time.
No, cursing is very much allowed on this show.
Claudia, are you guys in Vegas?
I'm in Vegas right now. Yes. Yeah.
That's why you're looking so fancy.
Yeah. Julie just finished her talk on prior authorizations being the new, or social media being the new prior authorization. She killed it.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
It's
right.
so true, too.
Oh my gosh. Her and Nilza are spitfires. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. And it's true. Like to get things approved, a lot of times patients got to take it to social media just to shame these companies into doing what they're supposed to do. It's insane.
Our Quest video almost has 1 million views, and it got to the point where they finally called me and they were like, we wrote it off. The patient has no balance.
Shut up.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm sorry that I had to post that on TikTok, but it's doing great analytically, so it's staying.
You're like, it's not coming down. Sorry. You made your bed.
Doing great for me going viral, so I appreciate it.
Exactly.
And
And
that's funny.
it's those sort of things where they don't realize. I think they're kind of slow getting to the table of what social media can do. And the fact that we've figured out how to weaponize that for patients, I think is really, really important going forward, because these are soulless, awful entities that really just run a money printer on patient blood. And that's really what they do. And it's fucking terrible. And it's got to stop. We can't have a financial incentive for... You
this
said what?
advocacy summit.
Oh,
What's
the
that?
advocacy summit? Yeah.
Sponsoring it. I got you a water bottle, Jeremy. Because I
Excellent. Thank you for
CVS.
getting me a water bottle.
Just perfect for whiskey, Jeremy. It can be your whiskey bottle.
Oh, whiskey bottle. Yes.
Whiskey bottle.
Well, my whiskey bottle should be the size of a water bottle.
Did you go up to him, Claudia, and say, don't worry, we're coming for you next?
the video, and then this guy was like, I'm from a credo and I work for oncology and we're actually helping people. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what kind of brainwashing are they doing? And
Yeah.
have I been brainwashed?
Oh, no. You've not been brainwashed. Trust me, the Kool-Aid they make people drink at these healthcare conglomerates is disgusting. Straight up disgusting. A lot of them, especially the mid to lower levels, they actually think they're doing good in the world, and they don't realize a lot of times kind of what they're doing. But let's go around. Let's introduce everyone. Let's introduce ourselves. Anthony, you're up, sir.
I'm Anthony Reznik. I'm a lobbyist for Independent Pharmacy Alliance. I've been lobbying for IPA on behalf of independent pharmacy for the last decade. I've been involved in government affairs for almost 30 years. Feels like forever. I'll probably be the boring part of this podcast, so feel free to come to me with all the boring questions about government.
I aspire to be you. There is nothing boring about that.
I don't think anyone has ever called you boring, ever.
Lobbyists have feelings too. Just like
But you're on our side, so.
yes, I am.
Yeah.
I'm sure the
Bill.
only person who's ever called you boring was your kids, right? Just
Oh yeah, there's no doubt.
nobody else can say that. But no matter how amazing you are, always to the kids, it's like you're still just dad.
Still just dad.
Still just dad.
He calls me a lot worse, but I'll keep that myself.
On the topic
Bill,
of dad.
rock star. Tell everybody about you and what you're about.
Well, Bill Schmidtknecht, my son Cole passed away earlier this year, January. I think a lot of you, obviously everybody out here might know that. For anybody out there listening or whatever, Cole experienced some of the worst that the PBMs can offer. We'll just say that for right now. I've taken my life, switched it, have a great employer who's allowed me to get out and do my bereavement, if you want to call it. And my bereavement is PBM reform, plain and simple. I'm starting to meet a lot of great people. I'm not very political and not a social media star, but since August 1st, things have changed. I'll say that. So awesome to be here tonight. And cheers from Wisconsin. I don't know if you can see that or not there. There's a little old fashioned for everybody to have and whatnot.
Same.
So here we go.
Bill, I just have to say, first of all, I'm so incredibly sorry about what happened to Cole. It's absolutely heartbreaking. As an independent pharmacy owner, there is nothing that would make me happier than to never have his story repeated with any other patients. But on top of that, I just have to say, I absolutely admire what you're doing because you're fighting for so many other people. And that's what true patient advocacy is about. And I absolutely admire everything that you're doing. I mean, I'm like always like checking on your social media. I'm like, what's Bill up to today? Because your story it's not only compelling, but it's inspiring. And you speak from a place of pushing people to action, which is really, really important. And beyond what we do in our everyday, pharmacy world, and we're trying to keep our doors open, like you're talking about real people's lives. And I just want to say, I absolutely admire everything that you're doing. I cannot wait to meet you in person.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And every day. Yeah. Yeah. Cheers to that. Thank you so much. Yeah. And speaking for everybody, that's something my wife, Angry Mom, will call her. She only got one post so far and she doesn't like it. So, but Shannon, both of us are get things done type people, don't have patience, we don't take time, and that's not this environment. That's not what we're working towards. Of course, we've adapted, but since the day we figured out what happened to Cole, which wasn't clear cut, it was a few weeks later when we found out when I had a issue at a pharmacy myself. Very obviously different outcome, but we don't want anybody else to die. Plain and simple. I mean, just doesn't get more simple than that, and the social media, as Mr. Lord, Dr. Jeremy up there said earlier, is a great tool. Claudia, I think you said you use that to your advantage too. And I'm learning how to use these tools, and I will not stop till we get the reform done. And that's just all there is to it.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it. We're here with you.
Yeah, Bill. I'm not going to rest until we gut these fuckers in the street. I'm with you, man.
100%.
Hey, that's right. That's right. And we got to do it. And these greedy people, these greedy fucking people. Everybody's got to have their lights on. I don't disagree, but we don't need them. We don't need them extra bright. Yeah.
Oh, I agree with you.
Yeah.
John, tell us about AHF and everything you all are doing.
Hi, I'm John Farina. I'm the Associate Director of Advocacy for the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. And we play in a lot of different areas, and PBMs are one of our favorite things to go after. And drug companies, we love to beat up on pharma all around. So I'm actually here in New York City. We are doing a protest at an investors conference where Gilead is making a presentation. And so we follow them around the country, and we go to these conferences and we annoy them by having a group of protesters outside calling Gilead greedy, greedy, greedy. So we do that. That's what I'm here for. We do a lot of work around PBM reform and working on the legislation and stuff and trying to track things. We're not a mom and pop pharmacy, but we're a nonprofit pharmacy. We serve a vulnerable community, and the attacks that happen to the independent pharmacies hit us too. We're not Walgreens or CVS. We're a big nonprofit, and we're like your community hospital that has a pharmacy. So the things that go on with the PBM reform matter to us as well. So here we are, and I'm drinking because I have to get up early tomorrow morning, high noon, which are my favorite little seltzer things here.
Yeah, those are alcohol free, aren't they?
John's rocking the nooners.
Yeah, those are just mixers in Dave Fox world.
I've heard, I mean, if you have 7 or 8 of them, it doesn't help very much.
If I were, not getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning, I would probably have something mixed, gin mixed in here or something. But cheers.
The only thing I want you to share about after your drink is John. John always has just incredible fashion taste, and I was curious, what is on your shirt? It looks like fire trucks. Where did you? I love when John shows up in like the coolest stuff, and then
it's like cars and buses and trucks and bikes and whatnot.
Yeah.
A friend of my husband and mine's is a designer, and she makes things, and she had this fabric laying around in her studio, and I said, I want a shirt made out of that. So she made a shirt out of it.
I want a shirt made out of that.
Excellent. Yeah.
I also have
Which brings us next to Claudia, the TikTok queen herself. Claudia has joined us. Claudia, tell everyone who you are, what you do, and why you kill it.
I'm Claudia. I'm C_money636. It was my Twitter handle in 8th grade. So this from Sigma.
Wow, I feel super old.
Okay, what was I born with? I was born with freedom of speech. So unless they're going to take away my human rights, they can't take away my opinion. So then I just started posting on TikTok, and then it's just really kind of taken off out of nowhere. It's kind of crazy, but we have every single social media that there is, and we're sharing everything just to educate people that it's not the pharmacy or the doctor. It's literally your insurance company that's giving me hell. And I'll put phone calls and I'll mute the patient information, and patients are getting real time examples as to why, one, the doctor's office does not always code wrong, and that's why you're getting billed. No. Two, if you just fight for patients, Julie fights, and I learned from Julie, and patients get what the doctor wants. Healthcare shouldn't be denied.
You're doing a really good job, Claudia, and you deserve a round of applause for it.
I think it's my sparkling personality and my quick wit. They don't know what to do with it. Because they're just did you really say that to me? Did she just ask why I'm in healthcare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love it. You ask the question, you say the quiet things out loud.
Well, and because I'm curious, I need an answer. And I was always told there's no such thing as a stupid question, but I take that back because insurance companies asking the same patient information 12 times.
Yeah.
Question, but mine was not.
My mother-in-law asks a lot of the same questions over and over again too. So there are stupid questions.
I swear those you get to one prompt and you have to enter all this information. I swear to you, I think it's a time filler because they have to hit these metrics for how long someone stays on hold. Well, if you're entering information, that's not counting towards the metrics for how long it takes someone to answer the phone.
Oh, I will stay on the phone with you for weeks. I'll find your cell phone number and I will call that, and we're going to keep the case going. Whenever one of my coworkers, they were we've been working on this for 3 months and we can't get it approved. I was give it to me. And I'm ugh. And I'm okay, can you just input the medication so I can stop wasting my time? This is stupid. You enter.
See, I've been meaning to ask you, did all of this arise with the TikTok just because you were bored on the phone a lot of times with what you were doing? And you were just well, I may as well start this. And it kind of blew up because this is something I always say about my advocacy. I was really happy to just be this middle-class guy, with my family, just, running a pharmacy, obsessing over college football. I was very happy to be that. They pushed me into this. They did it to themselves. I do not apologize for the shit I do now.
No, they have to deal with the trauma that I went through to be this funny. And it's a lot. So they're going to get to face the pain I had to. And they won't have answers most of the time because they never do. It's basically like that all the time.
Don't worry, they don't know what's going on either. All they're doing is reading a script of a yes or no, you go to this box. yes or no, you go to this box. It's total insanity.
It's
And
a script,
I
and it's
know the insurance companies come on because they'll be like, this is obviously a recording.
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a
Hey.
damn good actress then. Where's my Grammy?
It's whenever they come on and they say they're recording, and it's become this issue because they just want us to waste time. They have people reading a script, and one thing I found is one problem you can get is sometimes patients are desperate and they want to hear what they want to hear. And so if they get to that first level person who doesn't actually know what they're talking about, and they tell them something they want to hear, then it has completely turned them against us who are actually trying to get this approved or get something done with it. And it's a disaster. And it's hard to come back for whenever you lose like that patient trust. That a lot of times I just consider that moment, it's just like, I've already lost them. Like we're not going to get anything done with any of this.
I tell patients, I'm like, I've had some pretty terrible relationships, like pretty awful. But my relationship with an insurance company is the most abusive one I get. They promise they'll call me, don't call me. They like say, okay, like we'll meet here. Nope, they don't want to cover that. They want to do this, this, and this, and then we can go to Six Flags. Like
then we can go to Six Flags. That's what.
Yeah.
I guess for me it's like, and then we can go to Dollywood.
I love that, but I feel like that's
We'll get back to you in 3 to 10 business days.
Nope, 10 months, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Claudia,
Y'all,
It's not you, it's me.
but y'all, let's talk this protest, yo. Let's go ahead and line this up. Monique, what are we looking at? Take us through the events. Take us through what's about to happen.
Okay. So we are gathering at Optum, at the Optum campus in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, which, by the way, is a lovely, lovely community. It is beautiful. Also, all the businesses surrounding Optum are terrified of retaliation from Optum, which we learned when we went out to do our site visit, and people found out, including our hotel, what it was we were actually doing. And we weren't, by the way, on that note, it wasn't like we were hiding it. We did say we were doing a protest, but for example, when we talked to our hotel and we said, well, this is what we're going to be doing, and that moment of recognition hit where they were like, oh shit, like these people are actually going to go across the street and they're going to be mad at our primary client. That was when we started hearing our hotel like, hey, so like, please don't, involve us because we don't want to get in trouble from Optum, to which we were like, we know that story because we've been dealing with that for the last 20 some years. So we're going there. We're going to put up a podium directly across from Optum, from its entire gorgeous campus. We are going to have speakers. We are going to have signs. We're going to march. We're going to chant AIDS Healthcare Foundation like you guys did last time. You're totally going to walk us through that. We're going to chant your chants for at least 2 hours. We are going to get everything out of our system on how incredibly wrong and greedy Optum has been. And it's a great chance for anyone who's listening, if you've ever thought, I'm not a protest type, or that sounds like fun, but I'm not really sure. Let me tell you, you should definitely come to this protest, because between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., we are going to let everybody know how we feel. We're not actually going to be on Optum's proper campus, though we did visit Optum's campus, and Brandy can share the story about their gym on the first. But we are going to be there, and we'll have a lot of media covering it. It's very much a patient and pharmacist and provider protest. So we're all in this together because all of us are affected, but we have a lot to say. There's a lot that United Health Group for sure, but there's a lot that Optum has to answer for as well. So we focus our effort on United, on Optum particularly, and Optum is part of United, and United pretty much owns, from what I can tell, like all of the greater Minneapolis area. So that's kind of the blow by blow. We're going to have some great speakers. Bill's going to be speaking. And Claudia, we hope Julie will speak, or Vanessa will speak.
Julie's planning on speaking.
Yes.
Someone get her a megaphone. She threw it to me the last time, so she's going to have to be up there dancing with Jesse. He better be there. He was so much fun. Those pictures. don't ever let me get a megaphone again. My voice is loud enough.
And on that note, let's make sure she gets a megaphone.
And we're dedicating the protest to the memory of Dr. Bach and his fierce advocacy for so many years.
God, he was perfect. And
if we have the ability to share anything, I can share our last protest about this time last year when we protested at United Healthcare, a little video.
Yes.
Great.
John is also speaking, and John has been doing a ton of things for years as far as protests. Like they have been invaluable in showing us how to put these things together, how to get out and actually physically go out and protest, get like energized, do all these things. And it's a blast, you all. And we're out there for serious reasons, but it's also a lot of fun to get out there and vent and really just let them hear like how much pain that they've caused.
If you look at the videos from that day, they're talking about Loretta and like how the medicine was bad and it was like really serious. And then it pans over to the protest and I'm just like bouncing around, jumping like, da, 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 da.
That's true.
It's a lot of fun, and it changes you when you do that. So I would say going in, like I'm a pretty stiff, uptight person, which is why I drink Manhattans almost every day at this hour to help relax from my already too stiff day. But going to something like the protest, it really gives you that chance to voice a critical right that we all have, which is the right to peaceably assemble and protest when something is not right, and something is not right with the healthcare system. And Bill, we're really excited that you're going to be there. I completely echo everything that Brandy said earlier. Having you there and sharing your story is why we want to do this. It matters. It matters that people understand that critical medical decisions are being taken away from them. And Claudia, you and your team have been talking about that for years. I mean, I was saying to Brandy not that long ago, I remember following Julie from years ago and her blog and just thinking like how amazing and outspoken she is.
Our first TikTok was almost like a year ago today. I think is whenever, because I made a TikTok about Cigna denying claims in 1.2 seconds. And then I was like, just kind of looked at the camera. And then after that, we just started doing it all the time. And
happy anniversary.
It's the longest one I've ever had. So we're still going steady. So it's good. I think things are right.
Okay. So I want to tell you guys this. Whenever we went to do the site check, so I had looked at it on Google Earth and, I had looked at the campus. When you go see it in person, it's like, you have got to be kidding me. It's massive. I mean, it is massive and it is sprawling. The entire first floor of OptumRx is this like state-of-the-art gym with all this like expensive equipment, and it's these high-rise buildings. And I'm like, that's where all the fucking money's going. Like, you gotta be kidding me?
Our DIR fees paid for that one.
I'm like, they have these like amazing gyms and I can't even pay my damn wholesaler? Like, seriously?
Yeah, they're building castles from the bones of we peasants. That's what's happening. Like, it's ridiculous.
So I sure didn't go up and try to like open a door. Well, of course you have to have a key card for everything. And so I'm like, okay, let me take a picture. And I look and it's just a reflection of me in all of these pictures. Because I was going to just send it out to everyone.
Is what's so sad. Like, I'd love one of those offices. If you're not going to use it, at least let me use it to yell at you guys.
I think we should talk about why. Why would people protest? They're like, what are your reasons for coming to this protest, right? So I am not a pharmacist. I first got involved with PUT several years ago, strictly to help tell the story about what a pharmacy benefit manager was. And it was all supposed to be in the media. And it was before the EpiPen's pricing scandal had broken, and it was hard. It was super, super hard work. And then we had that breakthrough, and that was incredible. But I had this massive epiphany, and I literally could not sleep. And because the kind of person that I am in life is I'm very much for the underdog. I like a good fight. I like a good transparency fight. And when I began to realize as just an everyday person, just everyday Monique, taxpayer, person who works at a job, and I started to see how much of my own money was going into a system that I have no say, no control over, that's screwing over loved ones. I've got an uncle with MS. I've got a younger brother with severe diabetes. my parents are on Medicare. I mean, I don't come from like the healthiest group of people, and I was watching all their struggles. And when it started to occur to me why they were having to work so hard when they spent their lifetimes, paying into the system and not getting anything out of it, I just got angry, and I've never stopped being angry. And I am totally there for United Health, because around my city, Phoenix, they're everywhere. They're as ubiquitous as CVS is, and they don't do anything. They take money. So that's why I'm out there going to be protesting about this.
Yes. We've got a question. Dawn Hampton wants to know, they're going to be driving there. Where do they park?
They can park right in the vicinity of where we are going to be. There is a strip shopping center that has a number of restaurants in it. There's plenty of parking there. Across the street where we're going to be, you'll see our tents and our podiums. There's a parking lot there people can park in. Plenty of parking. That is the one thing no one will have to worry about.
Yeah.
It's the suburbs. There's plenty of parking.
And there's a
there should be a lot of parking. There's
a great pub right there too. It's like an Irish pub. It's really cool.
They're great. Yes. Yeah. There and I cannot underscore this. It's such a nice community. We went to give our permit to the Eden Prairie Police Department. The nicest people ever. And by the way, they'd never seen anything like this permit before. So we may be the very first permitted protest they've ever had there.
I'll bail you out of jail, maybe, if I can get fun.
We call our group of attorneys the 3 M's and a G, because 3 of their names start with an M. One starts with a G.
It's true.
I'll just legally blonde it. It will go well.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Pull that off, Claudia. I have no doubt. But for anyone who's listening, I'd love to know, like, what are you protesting, or what should we be protesting on your behalf for? Like, what do you want us to tell Optum? That's going to be my question. What do you guys like? What are you?
Bill, what do you want us to tell
other than
Optum?
To fuck off?
Yeah.
That's
other than to fuck off. Yeah. That's the gist of it. Bill, you've been kind of quiet. Tell us.
I'm listening.
What is going to be the message going forward? Like, what is going to be our message there?
Simplicity is that we're coming. I, of course, think there's a lot of momentum going from what I've seen since I got involved in February of this year, we'll say. But, talking to some of the people I'm working with, they feel there's a very strong momentum going forward, and the message I want to relay is that we're going to fix this. And, we've got a lot of people that are now starting to support us, and I think supporting us all more in the open. There's 36,000 people that saw my post about the protest, and they all know what it is now. There's 36,000 more people right there, and not to mention just what we have spread from our families, our friends, our website, Patient Protector website's getting out there, getting live and getting good, and the social media. But I'm taking the message everywhere myself for my cause and for everybody else's cause too, and Optum's stop number 1 on the 13th, and then I jump a plane to DC, and I don't even know who I'm meeting with yet, but there's a big list coming of there's this one house that's white possibly, and a couple other buildings out there that I might go visit. I'm taking my wife and I will take our message into all of that. I made a post the other day on the FTC report. I want to make sure that they know we're serious. And that's, as we're going through, I'm hoping to meet with a certain committee chair, and I'm going to push charges. Simple. That's where I'm going with it. And it's every angle we can go after. These people are deceptive, greedy bastards. And my son's not here. And I think their shit tactics may have had a little something to do with that. We'll just say that. And we all need to stay strong. We need to stay united on this. We need to keep our voices going. And that's all there is to it. And I think we got the momentum. We're going to do it. We got the right people in Washington, I think, working for PUT, for the accountability board, everybody, NCPA, everybody. They're all working great for everybody right now. So I guess that's my long-winded answer, I guess, but we're not fucking around here. We're going to fix this. So
what Bill was saying, we do have a window. a window we've never had before. We've been beating this drum for years, and it's taken a ton of force and a ton of people just like throwing themselves at this for years to get us to where we are, where people are actually listening and we actually have lawmakers educated. And Anthony, you could talk about this. You've been a lobbyist for this stuff. You've been fighting this fight for fucking years. It has taken forever. And it's amazing. We never thought this window would open. If you would have asked us 3 years, even just 3 years ago, we would have been like, no, there's no way we got this much attention on it.
Jeremy,
what's the feel right now?
I think the feel is really good. So when I first got this job 10 years ago, when I came in, I was telling Jeremy, I didn't even know what a PBM was. I was just glad to get out of state government because I was a lifer in state government, and I finally got a job in the private sector. And I had to learn on the job what a pharmacy benefit manager was. The weird thing about it is that I remember I used to be the staffer that you guys would come and meet with in the legislator's office, right? And you'd be talking to me and telling me about PBMs. And I've had people who came into offices I worked in talk to me about PBMs. I swear, it just went just like this because there were so many acronyms. It's so complicated. And I think a lot of times when pharmacists and pharmacy owners go meet with staff, they think they're talking to somebody who's in the know, who understands this business. Right. Nobody actually truly understands this business. And I remember when we used to meet with pharmacists, pharmacy owners, and other lobbyists, even PBM lobbyists, we never got it, could never understand. And then when I got this job at IPA, I started going out, started lobbying Trenton, met with the same folks that I used to work with, and started talking to them about it. I used to get blank stares, the same blank stare that I was giving people. Shoot, 10 years later.
Lobbyist.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
I said I think I'd be a great lobbyist.
I think you would. I think you absolutely would. You'll definitely get their attention, no question. Yeah. So 10 years later, I go back. Everybody understands what PBMs are doing. Everybody gets it. Everybody gets that they're ripping off pharmacies, that they're ripping off patients, that they're playing doctor and making medical decisions. So in the past, I always felt like I had to convince people that they were the bad guys and they were ripping off everybody off. And that's why drug prices are so high. Now, you don't have to convince anybody. They know what's going on. But I think the trouble is that pharmacy benefit managers are so powerful. They have such a powerful lobby. They have so much money that they instill fear in state governments. They instill fear in the federal government. Because think about it. If you're doing a budget, a state budget, you got to make sure that your budget passes, that you have a balanced budget, let's say by July 1st in New Jersey. If that budget isn't passed, everything closes down. Everything shuts down, right? If the legislator tries to do something that's, let's say, anti-PBM, they could threaten them. They could threaten them and say, look, if you're going to do something that harms my business, we're going to increase drug prices. They don't actually say it that way. They just say, well, your premiums are going to go up. They don't say that they're the ones who are going to increase premiums, but that's the implication. So
it's like we've seen it in multiple states where they go in and they're trying to get a dispensing fee and they call it a tax. And it gets everyone all worked up. And even the legislators, that actually I think will backfire on them, because you're seeing in like Illinois where you had a huge backlash on that, where they sent out all these mailers to patients saying, hey, you're going to be paying a $10 tax on every single script that you get now. And they weren't going to actually have to pay that. It's making the lawmakers piss the fuck off, because none of that's true. And they're starting to feel a little bit what we've been fucking feeling forever, trying to talk to them. Yep. And so, oh, no, the PBMs lied. No, they're not doing this. Well, welcome to our fucking world.
Oh my God, I make them stay on the phone with me. I'm like, if you're switching me to worst, now that I have you, Monica, you're going through the whole thing with me. I hope you're not paid hourly, because you're not getting off the phone with me until this man gets this medication. I need the tracking number too.
That's awesome.
And John, I've been wanting to ask you this. When did it start clicking? Like, you all have like this unique kind of situation to where you're also patient advocates, but you also are on like our side of things as far as actually running these things, when did it start clicking more on the patient side as well as the healthcare side, where it kind of started doing? It feels like it really started hitting maybe 3 or 4 years ago, maybe, I mean, 2 if you're really talking about like everyone understanding. When did it really kind of click where both sides are kind of starting to get it?
I don't know if there was like a set moment where that happened. I think overall, our advocacy, we see something, and because we're a large enough organization and kind of independent of anything else, that when we see something that needs to be talked about, we talk about it. So we've been ahead of the game on things like 340B and PBMs and anti-pharma stuff long before others started jumping into it, because we could get away with it. A lot of organizations had to be careful and watch what they say and watch what they do. A lot of organizations still do that. But our CEO, Michael Weinstein, is the kind of guy who has been an activist all his life. He started AIDS Healthcare Foundation because there were people who were living with AIDS in the 80s who had nowhere to go to live. So we were the AIDS Hospice Foundation. We were providing places for people to die in dignity because they weren't allowed to do so anywhere else. And he saw a need and he jumped on it. And again, this is what we've done all throughout our time as an organization. And it's what we do globally in all the countries that we're in. So when we saw the PBM fight, people living with HIV have some unique parameters or unique stigmas around them. So it's one thing if you're just getting a heart medicine, mail ordered to you, they make you get it mail order. It's heart medicine, right? So it's not, it's not embarrassing. It's not something that's going to get you kicked out of your apartment. But when you're a young African-American who lives in the city and, you're struggling to find a place to live and you've got some roommates and they force you to go through mail order and you get your HIV meds and somebody opens that package and says, oh shit, Jeremy has AIDS. Like, it's just, they get kicked out of their house. It causes problems. It's stigma, it's embarrassment, it's discrimination. So we started to see our clients going through that as we added to our affiliate organizations, where organizations like the AIDS Task Force in Cleveland and other places where we didn't take over and just become AHF. We let them still be their own organization and we're their parent. And that's when we started to see some real direct client concerns around mail order and pharmacies and what pharmacies they go to, getting prescribed things incorrectly, things that didn't go together because their HIV meds conflicted with some other med that they took. Because the CVS pharmacist is in a fucking hurry to get everything done because they've got to get so many things done in an hour. They don't have time to look things over, so they just process. Whereas, the local independent pharmacist gets to know you. They know when you come in, they talk to you. They say, hey, you haven't been in a while. They get concerned for you. They care about you. And our pharmacists care about our clients. So I think there was just a point where it just all kind of blended together and it made sense to just talk about it from all angles, from a business perspective and then as well as from a patient perspective.
Yeah, and that's what I'm finding. There's a ton of blending. And Claudia, I was about to just ask you about this because Claudia also, she does a lot of patient advocacy, but it's also a lot of provider advocacy and pharmacy. It's all rolled into one with the role that she has right now. And she's seeing a ton of that, and she's getting a ton of support from everyone. Her and Julie and everyone else, they're doing great work over there. And I want to hear about your experience, Claudia.
I will talk to them, send them my way. I love trolls because they're just little keyboard warriors. And I'm so sorry that there's a stigma. That's so gross to me. It's nasty. There shouldn't be. We're all human. What?
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I'm so sorry for it's gross. That's nasty behavior. And we're going to fix it. And that's why we're in it, is so people don't have to deal with this stupid, nasty stigma, thinking they know what's better. No. Why don't we let the doctors do their job? We go to our independent pharmacies, let them do their job. My local pharmacy, I didn't have enough money for my trazodone, and they gave me 4 to last me to payday. Mm-hmm. CVS wouldn't be caught dead doing that. I'd be dead before they would.
Yeah, I had a similar experience with our own pharmacy where I was out of town visiting family, and there was a family emergency, and I had to stay there. And in my HIV meds, I only had enough for the 5 days I was planning to be there. And our pharmacy hooked me up with what we needed to get. Walgreens wasn't going to do that,
No.
I have patients call me every week and they're like, I need my whatever the medicine is, but I don't get paid till next Friday or whatever. Like, you know exactly what we're due. We're like, not a problem. Like, come get it. We got you.
Fill those gaps, especially for mail order. Just like, well, my mail order hasn't sent it to me yet, and I'm out, and I need this or that, and we've been preyed upon as far as us just always willing to take care of our communities, and they've taken advantage of that to fill all these coverage gaps, and it's got to the point where, well, we filled these coverage gaps, and you fucked us. You've left us to where we can't continue to do that because we can't afford to exist, and it's
They
becoming an
fucked
issue.
Walgreens. I mean,
Yeah, they
Walgreens
fucked
can't even
Walgreens.
stay in business.
Here's one of my favorite goddamn things.
$8.65 at close today.
Yes. Here's one of my favorite fucking things ever. Everyone said, oh, well, yeah, independents, they're just not able to scale well. Even though our buying groups outnumber a lot of the chains, even though all of that was going on, they're just like, well, they don't have the buying power. It's market economics. Fucking bullshit. You think Walgreens right now doesn't have like significant buying power on our end? No, the deck is stacked. This is not a free market. Free market economics and that entire theory does not enter into this at all. We gave these PBMs a market advantage with the kickback exemption, and they've found so many mechanisms to spread that everywhere and move margin wherever they can because drug pricing is so opaque. And so they've become this huge vertically integrated conglomerate mess, and they can do whatever the fuck they want, and no one seems to care half the time until the healthcare infrastructure of our country has started to fucking collapse. And now everyone's like, oh man, where did this come from? I don't fucking know where it came from. It's the same place we've been staying for years. Fucking clown shoes. It's ridiculous.
Okay, really quick.
Is the thing. They're too big to care, and that's the problem.
Let's just think about this for a second. If Walgreens goes under, this is my rabbit hole I went down today. If Walgreens goes under, they own stock in Amerisource or Cencora now. Okay, so you have this chain pharmacy who is also a stockholder in one of the major wholesalers. All right, so think about the effect that that's going to have on this wholesaler if this chain pharmacy is no longer a customer, who it's their biggest customer because each of the big PBMs are associated with one of the big three wholesalers. Okay. So now
excuse me while I weep for Cencora.
Right, but think about it. What's going to happen to us? Our costs are going to go up because they have to subsidize that loss of revenue somehow. But on the flip side of this, if Express Scripts or Optum or CVS loses this huge group of chain pharmacies, what happens to their network adequacy? What happens then? So I'm all for this. Like, let's go. I watch that stock every single day and I see it just keep going down, 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 down. Because then what happens?
I have a scary conspiracy. I think they're trying to make it to where it's all mail order, and I can't figure that out.
They absolutely are.
Wentworth went over to Walgreens. Like, you know what's going to happen. Express Scripts is going to go in and offer to buy Walgreens. And, the
and then it's all mail order, and I'm never getting
because
any
they
of my
already allowed it with CVS, or they have to go break up CVS. Like, it's going to be an absolute shit show.
You know, these companies came in and years ago they were on every corner, right? You got four big corners in a community. You had a Rite Aid, a Walgreens, a CVS, and I don't know, whatever the hell else was there. And, you know, they bought up all the prescriptions from the small mom and pops and the independents, and then they put them all out of business. And then they started closing those stores, you know, and they put these stores in communities. So I live in a very kind of up and coming community on the east side of Cleveland. And, you know, we have trouble maintaining things like a grocery store. And for a lot of people in our community, Walgreens was that store because they had milk and they had eggs and ice and other random shit. And, well, they don't do that anymore. They've gotten out of that. So now they have this tiny little drive-through pharmacy thing where you drive up and, you know, get your drugs. And that's not going to last long because they want to push everybody into a mail order scenario and make everybody get their drugs that way. And these big companies now have created these giant pharmacy deserts all throughout, especially in urban centers and or really rural areas. and they have left these big hulking buildings in these communities with nothing in them, and took away all the pharmacies. So now people are forced to go to mail order, because between 40 or 50 blocks, 60 blocks in the city of Cleveland, you can't find a single drugstore.
And they
Well,
have the
Amazon can't
commercial
even do
piece.
same day orders. So
Right.
good luck
And
in
these,
your
but these
residence.
commercial buildings are then locked up because they're in these long-term leases.
Right.
So then what does that do to the economy for that city?
Right.
Like,
Oh, it's a mess. And then with all these
just
Rite Aids
started
that are
reading
closing
that.
now, there's a whole bunch more of these empty spaces.
So I'm gonna recommend that we take a step back from this particular precipice, because we could go for hours on where this is going to go. I did want to address something. So there have been a lot of good comments coming through, and I actually think it may have been the angry pharmacist who brought this up. But somebody had said, "Well, my patients don't care as long as the copay is zero," and I have a heart for that, because I am from Albuquerque, and I have my family and my very best friends are all there, and some of them work for Sandia National Labs, which is a massive government-funded, self-employed, self-funded plan. And they are literally nuclear scientists. My friends are literally nuclear scientists, and they've had a hard time understanding this. And they've said the same thing to me, like, I don't really care. My meds are $5, so why should I be concerned with this? And here's my response to them and to everybody who ever thinks that. You're paying 3 times for all of this nonsense that's going on. You pay at the pharmacy counter your portion, shall we say. If you are fortunate not to be on a high deductible plan, you're paying your portion. But you are also paying in your premiums. Your premiums, and what your employer is paying, is money that was given in good faith to compensate all the providers and the pharmacies for their cost of services rendered and their costs of goods. So you paid for that. You paid the dispensing fee already. And you pay it a third time. You pay it in your taxes. You've been being ripped off in Medicaid and Medicare consistently, habitually, to the tune of billions of dollars. If you think your $0 copay is carrying the day, I've got news for you. You're paying it, and you're taking it in the ass, and you're taking it every single pay period. And that's why you should care. And that's what people need to understand, is that it may look like you're not paying very much at the pharmacy counter. And if you are somebody who's fortunate enough to only have a $5 copay, your employer and somebody else down the line is paying a lot more for this. And this is why we need you to understand and to protest that. So it's been on my mind. I just wanted to make sure that we got that out there so that people understood that there's no free ride here. There's no $5 copay. You're paying it.
There's no such thing as a free lunch.
That
Hey!
means you got a curse.
I just gotta say something to that. I mean, like, it's $0 copay or not, my son was in one of those situations where it was routine, it was easy, it was simple, whether he's paying 3 or 4 times. And then one of the other tactics come in and get him. Let's just switch a formulary. Let's change some shit, and if you're not paying attention on this side, they're going to get you on the other side. And this protest is amazing for something just like that, because like you just said, the $0, come visit us, come learn about this, come take care of this. And the people who can identify it right in front of you, because it's going to sneak up on you too. And that's the biggest thing right there.
People living with HIV have been messed around with formularies for so long, where they're getting their drug for free every month. And then all of a sudden the PBM or somebody decides, this is kind of expensive for us. We want you to take this instead. Even though your doctor says you should take this, drugs have different side effects, so on and so forth. But they push you into something else, because, well, that's if you want your drugs for free, you have to get it this way. So that zero,
or you can pay
copay,
$4,000.
right? And so that $0 copay is painful in a lot of ways, even though it seems on the surface to be a really great thing.
Yeah. The other thing, and I think this is something that we don't say enough, although I know that independent pharmacies, we do this all the time, but one thing that it's really important that we teach to patients is, when you encounter a situation where you have a drug, your formulary has been changed, don't take no for an answer. Or if you are forced or you're used to going to a chain pharmacy and you don't know what your next step is, reach out to us. You can reach out to Putt. We'll help you. We'll help you find the answers. Claudia will help you. Jeremy will help you. John will help you. Bill will help you. Jeremy, we will help. we're not going to leave you hanging in the wind. And that's like, it's the night and day difference between these corporate pharmacies and your community pharmacies. And that's the other piece to me. That's why I protest, because I can't tell you how many patients I know for a fact, if they would have gone to another pharmacy, they would have had, it would have been terrible, whether it was, insulin or, an antibiotic or whatever. But we will stay and we will help them get it figured out. And you're just not going to get that at a chain pharmacy.
No. Like, my independent pharmacy has changed my life. I was just picking it up from CVS because it was right by work. And I was like, I couldn't get my medicine for the life of me. And I finally started going to this independent pharmacy, Millbrook. And I'm like, I love you guys. Like, I feel they compliment me. They know my name. They don't even need me to verify my birthday. They're just like, here, Claudia, here's your 7 medications. Like, amazing. Yeah. And then Walgreens is like, you're sitting in the drive-through for 3 hours, and then you find out all the pharmacists left because they're on strike.
Yeah.
And to be clear,
and Tap has a good point here. We can't pay our bills on good deeds and helping people, because we've done that forever and we've lost money doing that forever. And we're now at the point where we don't make enough money doing what we normally do to even do extra anything for anyone. It's gotten bad. Like, it is a crisis point, and it feels weird to us a lot of times to talk about, like, oh, we need more money. We need more reimbursement. We're dying. It actually feels weird to pharmacists because we're so used to just like giving back to the community and like paying out of pocket to help people in so many ways. And we've got to the point where we're so desperate that we've got our hands out being like, could you at least pay the cost of our drug plus a dispensing fee that'll cover our cost, plus just a little bit more so we can keep our lights on?
Not too much. Not too much.
Not too much. Just a little bit.
And then there's me, and I'm like, you're going to fix this when we get off the phone. Like, there's no option. I don't wait. I can't wait. I have ADHD. I'll forget.
I think some of that came from medicine and the provision of medicine, right? Pharmacy and providers rose together. They're not separate from each other. They're the oldest, literally the oldest profession. And it's been all too easy to
There's one older one.
There's one slightly older. Thank you for correcting me. You are correct, sir. You are correct. The advent of pharmacy, it's been too easy to take it for granted, because pharmacists, the nature of what you do is it's the last step in the process. It's I would argue, the most important step in the process, because if you're sick and you've been diagnosed and your provider has given you a treatment plan, the final part of that treatment plan is your medicine, and it's too easy to take it for granted. I concur that you can't pay your bills on good deeds, because it's pretty important also to remember that the whole reason we're here is because somebody not related to medicine has been exploiting the system. It was devised by people whose level of thinking got us into the 2008 financial crisis. If you watch The Big Short, again, which I did recently, and you substitute PBMs for the big banks, you're going to see the future play out again.
I actually think that they're going to make a movie about all of this, and the way they explained how things happened in The Big Short. I think of that every time, like, I start going through like the motions of what a PBM is. I think there's going to be an actual movie eventually on this level where they do a breakdown, and it's going to be Ryan Gosling giving like that kind of breakdown on how all this works, because it was an excellent breakdown explaining how like how shorting worked and how the subprime lending worked, and it was excellent.
Margot Robbie in a bathtub, and she'll be like, CIR fee is direct and indirect remuneration, which really stands for performance assessment fees, which nobody can win at because they
I want her to play me.
Yes,
Margot Robbie plays Claudia.
So this is what my day is on TikTok, just being dumb.
I want to mess with people's heads and have like Idris Elba play me.
Ooh.
Oh, that would be excellent. I'll have Idris Elba play me.
Adam Sandler.
No, I'm going to end up with like Seth Rogen. I'll take
That's
it.
a good one, though.
That's an excellent one.
You don't think it'll be Ryan Reynolds? You've got kind of a Ryan Reynolds personality.
No, I'm a Seth Rogen.
No.
I know what I am. Monique.
Wait, who's gonna play me? I know I'm like such a nerd. I know none of these people.
Ryan Reynolds is going to play you.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, Ryan Reynolds plays Brandy.
Hey, I gotta tell you something. This one will get you good. Ready? So I told you I'd have like a little ditty about Optum. So I had to credential last year. So I got a bill for $750. So being the super cool person that I am over the long holiday weekend, I read through every page of Optum's provider manual.
Love that.
And guess what it says in their provider manual? The recredentialing fee is $150.
Yep.
So I fired off an email to Optum asking them why I was overcharged and I would like to be refunded my money. And funny enough, they never get back to you quickly. They got back to me in 13 hours time and let me know that the credentialing fee changed to $750 in 2020, which, by the way, I went through all my communications, never saw anything about that. And they said, we're going to make sure that provider manual gets updated right away. So 4 years later, after something changed, I'm the first person that's called this out.
No one reads it. They count on no one reading the provider manuals, except for Brandy. I will tell you all, we have so much that we get done in the background just because of Brandy, because she goes off on this whole run and reads provider manuals and shit.
So of course I'm going off on this. It's Labor Day. It's Monday, the weekend. I've been at my pharmacy working for 14 hours now, and I discover this, and I'm pissed. I'm just so pissed. Because there's also a clause in there that says, guess what? Only independent pharmacies get charged credentialing fees. No one else. Only independent pharmacies. So I'm just losing my mind. I'm sending messages to all the 3Ms and the G, and I'm like, somebody has to be as pissed off as I am. And I get this message back from Miguel, and he's like, we passed a law that this is not allowed. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? So I just start firing stuff off to the Texas Department of Insurance. And every other time I've done it, it's immediately closed. We're not going to address this. No, they responded. And they have sent notices to Express Scripts and Optum. So to be continued. But hopefully I'm going to be getting a $1,400 refund for all those damn credentialing fees that I paid last year. So if you're
we'll see Texas, how that happens.
If you're in Texas and you have paid any credentialing fees, by the way, it's illegal for them to charge them to you because we passed a law in Texas that says they can't.
Oh my
So
goodness.
hit me up if you paid them. I'll help you get your complaint filed.
Yes.
Also, everyone, those PVRs, if you're in Virginia or other states that have audit protection, those PVRs that Optum are sending, they're illegal. And I emailed Optum about the fact that it's illegal. Once I brought that up and told them I was
sending Pabst Blue Ribbon to people?
No, I wish they were sending PBRs. They're sending prescription verification reviews that are saying that are not audits, but under any legal definition are audits. PVRs are actually illegal in a ton of states, everyone. So if you've ever paid any money to Optum because of a PVR, bring up your state's actual law and send it to them. They told me that, oh, Jeremy, no. We're sorry that you said that you talked to state lawmakers and you were going to get a meeting with DMAS in Virginia. We're actually going to put you on a list to where you won't get PVRs. How's that fair to anyone else? They're clearly doing something illegal and trying to do it to everyone else. So Optum, fuck yeah, I'm coming.
What are charging for PVRs, Mark asked.
What are they charging? PVRs,
they don't
they're going to go
anything.
in. It's like an audit. They only go after the expensive meds. So they'll go back and they'll try to claw back $600 for a $600 med. And it's an audit, and they're bypassing the law by saying it's not an audit. And they'll be like, well, you got 7 business days to send in all the documentation for this script. And after that, if you don't send it in by 7 business days, you have 5 days to challenge our ruling on it, and you can't submit any additional paperwork. And that
Jeremy,
flies in the
FYI,
face of so many laws.
Optum says that they're not audits, but in Express Scripts provider manual, they expressly say they are a form of audit.
Yes, they are.
Jeremy, for those of us who start making our grocery list, whenever you say PVR, maybe you could explain what those actually
Prescription
are.
verification review. It
Prescription validation request.
Validation request. Yeah, whatever. It's one of their new little auditing tactics where they want to nickel and dime us, and they don't expect anyone to challenge them. Well, guess what? We're fucking here now, so we're going to challenge
Doctor's
it.
prescription not count.
Oh no, they want you to. They're just counting on someone not sending in the right thing. They're clearly making a ton of money for it because by the Reddit post that we saw here recently, everyone's getting a huge increasing number of PVR requests. And because everyone's getting a huge number of PVR requests, they are clearly at least getting some back because a lot of it's done through fax. And a lot of times, like in my case, they can claim they didn't get the fax even though I have a full-on, yes, your fax went through. So I emailed it to them and I said, listen, this is how this fax went through. I know it went through. You all are bullshitting me because you're saying that this extra one didn't go through. So they're just trying to throw up more shit. I'm sure they're just trying to bring in more money for whatever to show shareholders, even though they got to pay it back later because they know it won't stand up. But the thing is that don't fucking matter because if they can get a big bulk of money and they only got to pay back part of it because no one has the balls to challenge them, then what's it fucking matter if they still made that much fucking money?
Not for long. Not when they have me and you yelling at them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hey, really quick, someone's asking if people can't come to the protest, but would like to do something, what can they do? Monique, take it away.
Okay, here's what you can do. A whole lot of things. You can support the protest by donating to it. That's the first thing. There are always costs that are associated with that. You don't have to donate. We would love to see you be on the protest virtually because we are going to be podcasting live. Jeremy's going to be doing that. Also, please take a picture of yourself. If you've got a protest sign, if you want to say something, take a picture. You can send it to us. You can send it to
I'll put it up just like this.
Post it on your social media. Tag TruthRx at TruthRx on Twitter because I refuse to fucking call that thing X because I hate Elon Musk anyway and won't do anything that he wants us to do.
They're also angry on Twitter. Everyone's so angry.
Everyone's angry everywhere.
And I'm angry. I'm a very angry person.
Not me. I'm a sweet, innocent, soft-spoken Jeremy.
Conversation.
So I would say too, like we did this during COVID and it was really effective. And I think it's still effective is if people can't be there to physically protest, make up your own sign, write it on a big piece of cardboard and hold it up. That says whatever you want to say, stop PBMs, fuck PBMs, PBMs can go to hell, whatever you want to say about them, write it on a sign.
I don't want to be steered. Anything you want to say.
And we use hashtags for all our AHF stuff to either say, greedy PBMs, stop PBM greed. So use those as you put things out there, and look for all of our that are on here that do social media, POT and AHF and all the different people, and repost what they post about the protests. So this way it gets more traction and people see it more. So do it on Facebook and Twitter and wherever else you're posting. So this way more people see it. If everybody forwards what we're posting, it expands the network and the algorithm suddenly says, oh, we need to pay attention to this and keeps it up and visible.
Exactly. Thank you, John. Very well said. And you can protest virtually, even from your pharmacy while you're listening. Last time when we were at Express Scripts, we had 900 people at one point online with us.
Yeah.
The people that were on site. And we would love, love, love to have everybody be there because it matters. We are expressing to Optum how much we hate what they've been up to. And they are particularly guilty. I'm sorry. One more thing, and then I promise I'll shut up. For everyone out there who's like, I don't want a single payer system. I've got news for you. You are in a single payer system. Yeah. You're in Union Health Group. You're in a single payer system. If you're in CVS Caremark, you are in a single payer system. But you are in a profit-driven single payer system where you're going to do what they tell you to do. You got no choice, my friends. So if you think you thought it was going to be bad if the government ran it, well, guess what? It's worse than you thought. And it doesn't have to be that way. That's what we are speaking out against. We want to restore healthcare to what it once was.
All right.
We're gonna make
a great note to end on.
Register, come out to the fucking protest. Come out, let your voice be heard. If you can't do that, then join us online. Have fun with me. I'm going to be out doing this exact thing right there from the protest. Participate with me online. It'll be a blast.
Cardboard cut out of me.
We'll buy you breakfast and we'll buy you.
Claudia, I will walk around with your cardboard cutout just for
Yeah.
you. I put it on my back so you know everywhere I go, just so you're walking
We're
backwards.
together the whole time.
Yeah.
It's been a blast, y'all.
All right.
To learn more about Pharmacists United for Truth and Transparency and how you can help fight PBM abuse of our healthcare system, visit our website at truthrx.org.